Alright, getting started here. Welcome to ClarksPlace. Thanks for tuning in here. Today we're going to go over what I did to get the wiring and all that set in the topper, and you'll see me start to cut some stuff here. This is the speaker basically that I'm trying to emulate with some wood, and kind of drew out that pattern, cut the strip that was the right width, and then I just used the little M12 cutter there and just kind of used it as a bandsaw. Just stood it upright and just cut each one and just tried to use the same pattern piece to make all of them. And you'll see me grab that stick and I draw the next one, cut out the next one, and ended up cutting a pair for 4 of them. Made 4 pairs there, and you see me, I kind of match them all up, and I went through and made sure that they all fit side to side pretty good here. And it looks like I got just about all of them cut there. And then the next step is I tried to figure out just about how wide that I wanted them. You can see me touching up a little bit, making a couple little adjustments to them. And then I decided I wanted it to be about 1 inch or so tall, the back side of them. So you can see me, I'm squaring off the edges there, and then I just mark to make 4 of them there, about equidistant there, and chop off 4 of them. And then that's going to be the center section of the part that's lifted up in the air. The angle part goes towards the ground, and the speakers kind of angle towards the band members and up. And those are the speakers that I'm trying to emulate here, is just throwing those on and stapling the sides. I thought that would be the best way to do it. The thin stuff that makes up the sides of the speakers, those are just kind of Luan. And then I think I grabbed a paint stick here, and then that was going to be kind of the part that comes up from the stage at an angle on the bottom part of it. And then that's going to seal onto the black base there, that black Luan that's down there. That's the stage base that goes on top of the pinball. That's like the speaker will seal to where you won't be able to see through it, and that my intent was, you can see all the little boats that I made right there, and then I'm pouring glue in them just to glue that, and then they'll glue overnight here. But my intent was to have the speakers kind of sticking up off the stage a little bit to hide the harness and the lights and all of that. So next day here, I've taken each of them after they've dried and just kind of squaring them up on the belt sander here and getting all the loose ends up. As I cut the stuff, it just kind of frayed a little bit, so I wanted them to be kind of as smooth as possible. So when you painted them black, I guess really you don't see that it's a wood piece up there. And I'm going to put a sticker or something over the back side of it that it says Marshall, like out towards the crowd, since I made the big box speakers, big Marshall stacks. So these will have a little sticker on the front of them that faces the crowd or the pinball player, and it'll have some sort of a sticker that says Marshall kind of hanging off the end of them there. So after I kind of got all those squared away that I thought it was good, it was time to start tackling the wiring harness and kind of figuring out. And you can see I've got the wire, I kind of cut a hole in that right side, and I thought I was going to wire them direct at and then paint the wires like black, like they'd be stage cables or something, hooking all the stuff together. You can see it kind of coming out on the right side there, coming out of the speaker. And I did that first one, and then it would require me to cut and trim all of the harness from speaker to speaker to be exactly perfect. And if I wanted to make it super clean and neat and nice and extra cool, I could, but I just didn't think it was worth all the time. So that first one, I kept measuring it there and played around the longest to get that very first one done, and then the rest of the other 3 went really quick because I didn't mess around with all that stuff. So I've got flathead screws that come up through the bottom, and then I'm bending with the little Milwaukee 5-in-1 pliers there. I'm bending the little standoffs to where they actually will point the flasher in the right direction. The very first one, I didn't get it bent the right way, and I don't think I did on this second one either, but I ended up getting the next two closest to us here on the left, getting those two both pointed kind of towards the band members and up. And I think the speaker boxes will do a good job of hiding everything to where when you're playing it, you won't even see that there's any lights anywhere on the topper at all. But yeah, kind of get them bent. And then those flathead screws pushed up through the bottom, you can see me screwing a nut onto as it comes up through that base. They will go flush to where you won't be able to see like a nut or a bolt hanging down in front of the back box, as it does overhang a couple inches there. There, I guess as I was pulling it around, I popped one of the wires, so I had to resolder that one, or still trying to resolder it. Didn't want to go back on there for some reason. But got that back. You can see me twist around, and I get quite a bit faster at it. I just kind of lay where the box goes, and then kind of put where those flashers are going to angle, and the GI light, and just put a dot where it goes, drill the hole, push the screw up, and then kind of angle the LED where it's supposed to go, or the stanchion thing. And just kind of, I held it with my finger on the back side and just kind of pulled. I could feel it pull that flush with the bottom of that to where there'd be nothing sticking through on the bottom. I wanted that clean look. So just test fitting with the speaker box there again, and figuring out where it would need to mount and hide all the wires and accommodate both of them. I made them that wide, that way it could hold two of the different stanchions in there and not be too crowded. It was crowded, but ends up working out pretty decent. So you can see that's kind of angled more towards the back. Then I grabbed the Metallica thing and wanted to get an idea of where everything fit there. So bang, I threw all the band members on, and then I think Dad and Doug came over and we kind of played with what might be the best scenario as far as how everything looked, where it should be, and then we just kind of get an idea of, with everything set, how's it going to be. So with that idea, I kind of traced everything out where that was going to sit, and then got an idea of where the speakers needed to be. So that was the next step, is to throw the speakers on. And once I had the first one set about where I liked, I just measured exactly from the back of that plane, or the back line back there, where the back 2 points were, and then I just put the second one in the same spot. So the Marshall stacks, that's just a piece of paper I printed. I think if you've watched the other video, you saw how I did that. And just use some spray adhesive and kind of trimmed them a little more to fit inside there, and sprayed some spray adhesives. That way it would never fall out while you're playing the game. They're stuck up there pretty permanent now. And did a couple screw holes in the bottom from where I drilled a hole through, and got the stacks mounted up there. So yeah, then it was a matter of looking and going, okay, all that front looks good. Now where do I want the wires on the back? And these are the yellow wires there are GI lights. So I'm gonna probably tack on some UV lamps to those, and they'll just clip on to the back side of those. So they'll have some GI lights that'll kind of point back up at the Metallica sign and towards the center stage, which I'll explain here. You'll see a little more in detail as I kind of go around and look at everything. Oh, another wire came off, so I soldered that. But I pointed them up straight there, but you'll see I end up moving the inside LEDs right there. You can see that bottom one. I moved from the right down and kind of pointed it to the right there. And that one I pointed kind of to the left. So there'll be some lighting. And like I said earlier there, that wasn't sure what color I'm going to use, but that kind of shows all of the lighting around and all the harnesses, how it all ties together. And then going down, you can see all those wires kind of come into that single harness there. So back to some live audio. All right, here's the test. Put a couple LEDs in here. and we'll turn it on about 5 volts there on the transformer. Ding! Got a light here and a light here on. Sweet. I'll put a few more in. And I'm just using some super brights right now, but I may put some color changing LEDs in depending on what I end up liking in it. I'll be darned, somebody knows how to build a harness. So there's all the lights on, stage lights. And then I put these two pointing in for the drummer. So now we'll test the flashers. And this is my little mini transformer that you can set to how many
turn
volts
it down.
How many volts AC you want. So yeah, you can, as he's turning it down, you can see. So I'm only up to 5 volts there. All right, so I hooked up the harness. Well, I had hooked up. So I hooked up the harness. You can see the white and green. Those go to all the flashers. So we're gonna have this hooked on there, and the white and green. So now I'll put up to like 12 volts. We'll put some flashers in. Let's see here. I'll put it up to 10 volts.
That one's on, this one's not.
Oh, this one's a different flasher. This is the black and so only that flasher's on. So yeah, go ahead and pop in a few more. Yep. Okay.
One more?
I got one more. Okay.
Those
So,
all work.
12 volts. Boom. All the flashers are going to flash. All right.
And what
Last one to test is the black and the red wire.
So what are those? 12 volts?
Yeah, these are 12 volt flashers too. So the black.
But they'll be on a different circuit.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 different flashers hooked up. So this will go bang, 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 bang as the lightning bolts flash in the back. So yeah, I got black and red done. So
There they are.
boom. So those are done. So my harness is complete.
It works.
And everything works. So these are all volt AC flashers, and 12 volts and 5 volts or so for the GI. So I'll put the lights in, and I might change out lights 10 different times until I find the right combination of lights that I like. So alright, so continuing, it jumps right in. You can see that I've started to put some tape, use some Gorilla Tape, and just kind of covered all of the wires. That very first one that had it coming out the side, I ended up not opting to go that route and just pulled all the wires out in front of each of those speaker boxes and gluing each of those down, and they'll set overnight. But just pulled them all out and kind of taped them all down, and not gonna go for, yeah, kind of taped all those speakers wanted to fall off, and did a couple times, but basically taped down all the wires to hide everything, and it's up in the air that you won't see it. And then the last thing I did here today was kind of set up the plexi stage that goes up on that little platform, and kind of got all the gear situated where I thought it should go. He usually has 2 of the big drums that are on the floor for his feet, but this kit only came with the 1. And end up taking a little toothpick and some E600 glue, going around and just hitting everything, and making sure nothing does move as it's up in the air and as the pinball game gets shaken around. And I think that looks pretty good on that plexi, and all laid out pretty good, and he's a little left justified to where you'll be able to see him behind everybody up on a little stage. So thanks everybody for watching.